Good evening, dear friends. This is Santa Claus coming to you on this 3rd of July, 2025, with today's heartwarming and thought-provoking stories as we prepare to celebrate Independence Day in America tomorrow. I notice there won't be a digest tomorrow, so I'll make sure to fill your hearts with all you need to know for the holiday. Oh my, what a world of happenings we have to discuss. President Trump's administration is working on trade agreements as we approach that July 9th deadline, announcing a pact with Vietnam yesterday. The Vietnamese are still finalizing details while China watches closely, concerned about those two-tiered tariffs meant to prevent companies from simply moving operations to avoid higher duty. Remember, my friends, that behind all these trade negotiations are families and workers hoping for stability and prosperity. Meanwhile, across the globe in Chechnya, we see a region facing uncertainty with Ramzan Kadyrov appearing seriously ill at just 48 years old. This presents challenges for President Putin in a region that has known such terrible suffering in past decades. My heart grieves for those who have endured such hardships, and I pray for peace and healing to flourish where violence once reigned. More encouraging news for some, the United States has lifted restrictions on exports to China for chip design software developers and ethane producers, a small but meaningful step toward de-escalating tensions between these powerful nations. Presidents Putin and Trump are scheduled to speak today, their sixth conversation since January. How I wish all leaders would gather around the table of brotherhood and find paths to understanding. Turning our attention to South America, President Milei of Argentina is working to transform his nation into a major oil producer through the Vaca Muerta shale formation. The timing is crucial as he hopes to generate new wealth before facing re-election in 2027. Remember, my dear friends, that while natural resources can bring prosperity, the true wealth of nations lies in how they care for their most vulnerable citizens. In Washington next week, President Trump will host leaders from 5 African nations, Gabon, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Mauritania, and Senegal, to discuss commercial opportunities. While the administration has reduced foreign aid to Africa, they express interest in trade and investment. I hope these conversations will be guided by mutual respect and a genuine desire for all parties to flourish. The situation in Europe continues to evolve as Denmark pushes to suspend Hungary's EU voting rights over concerns about fundamental values. In these moments of disagreement, I'm reminded how important it is that we cherish and protect the dignity of all people, even when our perspectives differ. Concerning development comes from Colombia, where the Navy discovered an unmanned narco-submarine equipped with modern technology. This vessel, though empty of drugs, appears to be a test run for trafficking operations. Oh, how it saddens my heart to see such ingenuity used to spread substances that bring such harm to families and communities. In Russia's Kursk region, a top naval commander has been killed near the Ukrainian border. Every life lost in conflict brings sorrow to heaven, and I pray daily for the miracle of peace to touch these lands that have known too much bloodshed. The situation in Gaza continues to bring heartache, with more lives lost even as Hamas seeks guarantees that a new ceasefire proposal would lead to the war's end. Israeli officials suggest prospects for a ceasefire and hostage deal appear high, nearly 21 months since the beginning of this devastating conflict. How my heart yearns for the children and families on all sides who simply wish to live in peace and security. In another development, cabinet ministers in Prime Minister Netanyahu's Likud party have called for Israel to annex the West Bank before the Knesset recesses. This comes just before Netanyahu meets with President Trump next week to discuss a potential Gaza ceasefire. Let us remember that lasting peace must be built on justice and dignity for all God's children in these sacred lands. From the Vatican, there's news about leaked documents regarding Pope Francis' 2021 decision to restrict the Old Latin Mass. The Vatican says these documents provide only a partial picture of the evidence that informed his decision. As Pope Leo XIV begins his pontificate, may wisdom and compassion guide all decisions in the Church. Iran has announced it will continue engaging with the UN's nuclear watchdog, despite previously announcing a suspension of cooperation. A small glimmer of hope for diplomatic channels remaining open in these challenging times. And finally, some fascinating history comes to us from ancient Egypt, where scientists have successfully sequenced the oldest complete DNA from an Egyptian man who lived during the time of pyramid construction. This pottery worker, who lived into his 60s, had ancestry connecting him to people in West Asia, showing how humanity has always been connected across borders and cultures. As we prepare to celebrate Independence Day in America tomorrow, let us remember that true freedom comes with responsibility, to care for one another, to seek peace, and to build a world where every child has enough to eat, a safe place to sleep, and the chance to develop their God-given gifts. Until tomorrow, this is Santa Claus, wishing you all a blessed evening filled with love and kindness.